And the trick is, I feel like the game will be reasonably successful once you have that good number of players in it and you're able to just get into a match immediately. I feel like the wait times for games are a bit off-putting right now. Things like that. The $40 price tag is a bit off-putting right now. I just want to do some of this. That'll work for me.
I couldn't have found a more promising site even with all my years of experience.
There we go.
Shall we begin?
Aha. Okay, so this could work out reasonably well. We still have this carbon triangle down here, so it's not too bad that I destroyed this one up here. We have iron next to us. We have water, silicon. This could be a really good spot, realistic. I mean, this could be a good spot for us, guys. I could be able to use this fairly effectively. Aluminum is the primary concern, right? There is some scattered about, but there's not a lot of it on the map, so I might need to grab a little myself, if I can. Just grab that, and we'll just actually grab these high tiles to kind of keep people away from us a bit more. We'll take this medium here, because it's a bigger patch of water we can use more effectively, but also just this high silicon. The hope being that kind of maybe people will stay away. Okay, we don't get the aluminum. That's okay. Hopefully we can just rely on buying aluminum. I don't know if I want to commit to 2 random aluminum tiles. But nobody else is going to want to either. Let's just take these 2 aluminum tiles. We'll be able to use these a bit more effectively with any luck. Obviously we can't get both of them yet because we need more claims, right? But we'll be able to turn them maybe into even electronics production later on if aluminum stays difficult. So hopefully this will work out okay. Pirates can't hurt us too bad right now, but they're still worth fighting for because stuff is worth money, right? Let's see. We've already got some farms down for Bradbury. It's been a while since I played a 6-man. I've been getting away with mostly playing 4-mans these days, so I have no idea how this is going to go. I really need to do another 8-man or 2 soon, but let's go for 10, 12, 14. Yup. 16. I don't know if... I don't want to push to the 18. I don't want to push to the 18. I really do want this claim, if I can pull it off. I have 4,700 in resources right now, which is reasonable, but aluminum is just so extremely expensive. I really want this tile in particular right here, is what I want. So that's what I'm going to go for. Hopefully those didn't land on me. Nope. Good. There, we got the cheap claim. We were able to afford it reasonably well. People are taking our geotherm and stuff like that. That sucks, but, you know... You can't get everything in the game. You just can't. The game doesn't work that way. And I'm hoping we'll be able to upgrade before we need to... Let's go ahead and sell out of the steel. Buy up glass. Buy up a lot of glass, actually. I'm hoping we'll be able to upgrade before we need to change around any of this. Like, I hope we don't have to get rid of this silicon, and I hope we don't have to get rid of this water before we upgrade. I don't really want to have to pay the resources to make that transition immediately. I could go ahead and put a farm down, and that would be okay. Bradbury already has a farm down. We'll check for reactors quickly. I'm not seeing any of it. These guys just haven't expanded much yet, so we don't know what resources they're going to be trying to get into. That's the kind of thing we're going to have to watch out for. We might even at some point transition out of some of this steel and try and get into a decent amount of power. We could even do that on this tile immediately. Like, just be like, hey, solar panel, just because solar panels are good, you know? It might not be a bad idea. Let's go ahead and do it. Bam, solar panel down. Excellent. Could even throw down another one before too long. We could get another claim bought up right now. It's only 3,000. That's almost certainly worthwhile. Like, just another claim. Get down another solar panel in this nice water area that we're going to use anyways. We're spinning aluminum this whole time. Hopefully we'll be able to push to an expansion fairly easily anyways. Let's see. We'll sell a little glass. I want to keep enough to go ahead and get into food, maybe. I could actually just keep enough glass for another upgrade. So why don't I do that? Hold on. Sell. Bye. Sell. Yeah, we may just move out of this steel for a while at some point. Because it's losing us money actively right now. I don't know why it's still online. It's because I'm an idiot is why, but still. But the aluminum, I'm glad we committed to this. This aluminum is actually super valuable at this stage of the game. Like, the only thing more valuable, I think, is our power right now for us than our aluminum. And we can see that, like, these farms are doing well, right? But this aluminum is still doing strong, almost as well as those farms were. So that's absolutely fantastic and exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. Now, we saw a reactor down. Just one, though. That's not much. We need to figure out what the scavenger player is building. He's moved into reactors, so we may want to just consider farms anyway. We'll bid on the water because water's pretty good. Glass is another option. If we just want to move into making glass, we can do that fairly easily with this silicon. Like, we can just be like 1, 2, maybe even scrap the silicon, even though silicon's pretty good. We could just make 2 of them right now. Seriously? I mean, I'll take it. It's still a high water. Yeah, water's not worth much now, but it should be fine. Okay, what if we sell silicon and some glass? We can get to another claim. Silicon is significantly less valuable now. Let's go ahead and turn the steel back on. Steel's doing well again. Make sure that we can go ahead and get into... Let's just sell the glass so we can actually put down glass production. There we are. Power's still doing okay. We could just add some... We could even throw down reactors here. Like, there's already some reactors down. Maybe farms would be better. Maybe just farms. Oh yeah, here's more reactors here. Yeah, we'll do farms. We'll just throw down some farms. That should be good. Power's still doing okay. Like, this power has been good for us so far. It's not making us money or anything like that, but it's been good to us. We could get down a little more of it even, potentially. Whoa, we just bought up a lot of resources. I guess that was sending oxygen out to the glass furnaces. That's fine. It's unfortunate that these glass furnaces aren't connected. I could even just throw 2 claims to connect them, put power there, and transition this power into food. After power tanks, that kind of thing might be reasonable in the short term. Purely because it keeps my glass from being vulnerable to things like mutiny, things like dynamite, all that stuff, right? So if I just go ahead and get these farms, these solar farms down now I have decent resources coming in for future expansions. I can push for more claims potentially, which is just fine. I can start on this whole farm process. We'll get a farm down here. Yeah, that should be fine. Glass is fantastic for us, $100 a second right now, which is wonderful. Obviously, these guys have caught up in expansions, right? And they're in good resources. Like, this guy's in food. Food's wonderful. Food's absolutely incredible right now. I wish we were in food, but we went into power instead. Power is better if we weren't paying off debt with it, but we are, so that kind of hurts. I was hoping we'd be able to push through to the point where we weren't just paying off debt with it by having this many solar panels down, but that didn't happen. The aluminum is still doing wonderfully, so that's good. I mean, for what it is, right? All right, we're going to be looking for an expansion pretty quick here so that we can push to some farms, which is why we haven't expanded yet, because we know we want farms off of it. That power surplus hurts real bad, actually. We'll need to move out of these solar panels faster than I was hoping. Another thing we can do is just throw down more silicon. I wish this was still silicon, but like, we needed it to be glass too, and it was just kind of an awkward situation, all things told. Okay, let's get out of this power then. We'll move those into farms. Yeah, we'll bid on that. Sure, why not? Sell more glass. Get into an engineering lab. I don't even know where this is. 6,000. Okay. Obviously, we're spending a lot on fuel transporting that water, and it might be better to just turn that water off for the time being. But it might not. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, 8,000. Sure. All right, 9,000 we may just let it go for. Carbon is doing real well right now. Like, we could take these 2 carbon tiles, turn them into something else later. We could take this carbon tile and plan on doing something with it later. If we did something like get slant drilling, could be helpful. I don't know if we want to push for both a patent lab and an engineering lab at the same time, though. Let's check Offworld prices. Okay, not super vital to get to HQ level 5. That's why we were checking Offworld prices, just to know that. We'll grab a goon squad, because I don't know what to do with the black market, and we want to make sure we keep using black market. Glass is still strong. I'm going to commit more into it, because I don't see anybody else making much glass at all. And if glass is going to stay strong, we may as well make money from it. Everybody else is staying out of it, mostly because of the silicon price, I imagine. Which makes sense. I mean, it's a good play on their part, but it still makes for an interesting situation. We have the engineering lab up. Let's upgrade chems. We'll make chems at some point, hopefully before too long. Hopefully before other people get into them, so we'll just start a couple chem upgrades. So we know we're going to make those valuable, and hopefully we'll be all right. Asimov and Niven are kind of fighting. Herbert's stock price is very low. A lot of people kind of short on money. Power with this dust storm is causing a bit of an issue. Can we push to an upgrade? Not quite. Look at this carbon, though. This carbon's absolutely incredible. I'd love to add to it, but it's not working out so well right now. Okay, well, anyways. Giant misclick, says Niven. That sucks. Herbert, yeah, he's got... How much debt do you have, man? 42,000. Not even that much. He just doesn't have much stuff in general. We need 109 to shift by him. I'm wondering if we can sit on what we've got now until we can pull that off. Oh, wow, that glass shortage. I'm actually just going to buy hard into that because I know I'm the primary person making glass. This might push me enough to just get this shift buy done. There it is. Okay. There. That way nobody could fight me over it. It cost me a lot of money, but I think it was still well worth it. Now we just have to be careful that Niven doesn't kill us. Thankfully, he doesn't have a whole lot of cash, so hopefully we'll be all right. Let's actually just upgrade food production and plan on moving into chems at some point. Still, the glass is still doing wonderfully for us, right? We can probably still stay in this game after that buy. We've got steel here, we've got food here, that's all good. This stuff is making a little bit less of a trip now, which is good. The water, at least, is making less of a trip. Okay, okay. We're in a decent spot. We're making a lot of food. Like, a lot of food. We'll probably bring that price down before long. Let's go ahead and goon squad that to make sure that doesn't happen again. Could even try and get to another engineering lab, and it might be alright. Power is doing just fine for us. How much power do we have? Yeah, we'll bid on that. Do we really just have these two solar panels? Oh, it's a solar flare going on right now. That's why our power is so ridiculous. Okay. We will need to add to power fairly quickly, so we need to actually push to an upgrade pretty much as fast as we can. We'll go for an upgrade on the cheaper upgrade. We don't need that many claims. We just need a couple, realistically, and hopefully we'll be all right. We can also try moving this steel, some of our steel around, probably this steel. We'll try moving this steel around into chem production because that should be reasonably strong before long.
Scientific colony expanded.
Still plenty of reactors around, things like that. Let's upgrade here. Okay, so we'll add a chem lab based on the upgrade. I wanted to add an engineering lab. We still have this steel production going. And I wanted to add power was the other thing. Let's put power down there. Being frozen sucks, but that's to be expected when you're pretty much in the lead this game. Let's upgrade chem production again. Those are still going strong. Look at this. Look at how much money we're making from that. The other nice thing about putting our valuable stuff away from our base is it's less likely to be targeted just because people won't pay attention to it, right? That's really, really good for us. Okay, power's very expensive, costing us all kinds of debt, but our debt's very, very low because we've been maintaining power all game. So I think we're still all right. Carbon is still very expensive. So a patent lab would be kind of nice. I talked about an engineering lab, another one, but I think a patent lab might be a better idea just for that carbon scrubbing. Because I'm a little bit worried about the carbon price attached to these chem labs, which are still doing well, but not doing what you'd hope. All right, let's move this stuff into reactors. Because we know we're dragging up the price on that fuel. Let's upgrade our... Now let's upgrade fuel production for the short term. All right. Chems is still going strong, still making plenty of money on chems, but that's not going to last all that long since we're relying on the lab in order to kind of sustain it. Also, this glass, it's still making money, but frankly, it should just be silicon production. Let's just change over all of it. We'll figure the rest out later. Do we have that patent lab online yet? Almost. Getting frozen again. Thankfully, it can't hit our silicon, which is going to be our most valuable production. Let's go nanotech. Carbon scrubbing is already taken by Asimov. Okay, the food is not so good. Really kind of hurts having all of our power frozen constantly like this. We do need to secure the rest of our stock fairly soon. Just keep selling, keep selling. We could upgrade, not going to upgrade, don't feel the need to upgrade. The reactors are good, the steel is good. Let's actually, we could just upgrade steel production, shoot. Okay, and just keep buying our own stock, hoping that we can kind of secure all of this into a good position in this game. Clark would be nice to buy, but that's not necessarily a good reason to push for him, just because he's nice to buy. How are these chem labs doing? Not so good anymore. Virtual reality is fine, we can go for that. And electronics are looking like a nice thing to start trying to make, except for the price of carbon. Unfortunately, there isn't really a good way around that. Let's see, where can I put this thing? I can just put it in place of like one of these silicon tiles, that's fine. These aren't very good at all. Oh, not that one, whatever, it's fine. Pleasure Dome cost me 8,000. Aluminum, not so hot anymore. We need to make sure to shut off some of that aluminum that's coming in. Actually, the Pleasure Dome's not even that good right now. I'm just kind of hoping it will be shortly. You know what we should go for is superconductor after nanotech. These chem labs, didn't I turn these off? Shoot, they should be off now, that's for sure. Okay, Pleasure Dome. Right there. That should still make us money, just not a lot. Let's see, we've upgraded food, we've upgraded fuel. Let's upgrade electronics. With any luck, carbon will be on the way down. No guarantee of that, but we can still try. Especially with our upgraded electronics production, hopefully it'll work out. We could actually just turn these into steel. Shoot. Okay, Niven's still buying our stock. We're actually going to sell out before the shortage in order to try and secure... Oh, shoot, we didn't quite get it. Man, Niven is still very well set up, and actually better set up than we are now is the problem, because he succeeded on the buy, and he has so much of our stock secured. I was really hoping that... See, the problem is, we've had our power kept getting frozen, and kept getting frozen, and kept getting frozen, and kept getting frozen, and I really thought it would stop getting frozen one of these years, but I was completely wrong about that, so our debt got too ridiculous, and it allowed him to secure too much of our stock, which is probably a big mistake on my part. But I didn't know to expect that my power would just be in a constant state of inaccessible. That's superconductor, which should help a bit. Silicon shortage coming in should make me quite a bit of money if I use it well. That's $100 we're just going to sell out. We're going to upgrade. We could move into some iron production. Our steel production is still strong. We could take thinking machines. We could take teleportation. Both of these are potentially very strong things. Chems are still very, very cheap right now, so they're good to take. Let's go ahead and increase our electronics production and actually get some electronics factories down. Where do I want to put these? I could put them with instead of this silicon here. That could be a very good idea. Just go ahead and drop electronics factories instead. There, a whole bunch of electronics factories right there. I still have the aluminum here. It's not super valuable, but it's good to know about. I'm worried about this carbon price in particular. It's my biggest concern, is where carbon's at this game. Now, the guy who got carbon scrubbing is out of the game, which is a big deal. I'm wondering if we can go for a buy on either Bradbury or Clark and actually succeed in it before having to go after Niven, because it would kind of suck to have to just go after Niven. Man, food's not going quite like I was hoping it would. I was hoping it would recover at some point. It never really did. A mutiny on what? Okay, that he just took back his carbon. That's understandable. Carbon's too good right now. We could try and just grab more carbon tiles, I suppose. It's not particularly good carbon tiles, but we can work with it. Let's see. Oh, that's part of the problem, is he's just been sitting on this ridiculously valuable carbon this whole time. And it's never come down. Like, carbon stayed high the whole time, which I really wasn't expecting and wasn't ready for. I think I'd like slant drilling if I can pull it off. EMP right on top of our electronics as they're online. That's wonderful. We'll just beef those up again, I guess. Let's upgrade our carbon. I'm so concerned about this. This in particular is disgusting, and I don't really know why it's happening. But it's really frustrating that the other guy went for carbon scrubbing and got knocked out, so now nobody gets it. Oh man, what do we do besides just pull in carbon at this stage? We could go for an Offworld. I don't see that going particularly well, though. Even if we had thinking machines, which we don't. Okay, let's see. The Pleasure Dome's making a serious amount of cash, at least. Slant drilling is something I kind of wanted. There's a mutiny on us somewhere. We're just getting hit by so much black market all the time. Ah, that's infuriating. Like, how do we stay in the game when we're just not allowed to do things in general? Mutiny on that carbon, that sucks. Is there any other source of carbon on this map? Somehow I don't think so. So I was hoping to get this carbon, but it got taken away from me, right? So having deleted this carbon ended up not working out at all the way I was hoping it would. And we're just still in all kinds of trouble. Now, this guy's also making electronics, but he's not making it particularly valuably. Look, he's halfway to buying us, and almost all of this is just going to be this stupid carbon price that won't move. Ah, man, and I can't get carbon income, and that's so infuriating. I can't get carbon scrubbing either, because for some reason it gets permanently removed from the game just because somebody else got it. I could have not gone into a carbon-consuming resource, but then I'm not making any kind of money at all, right? I need to make some money somewhere. I'm just going to start trying to beef up my stock price a bit in the best way that I know how. It makes me more valuable to buy, but it might actually keep me in this stupid game for longer. Just nothing on World is worth anything except for carbon, which is just so ridiculous in every way. I have no idea why that is, even. But it's just lost us the entire game is what it feels like. This idea that the only thing you can do is make carbon stuff. Oh, but carbon costs a ridiculous amount of money. Carbon scrubbing is gone, and your primary opponent, yeah, he has control of all the carbon on the map. Good luck. Alright. Let's make more chems, because that's going to cost us carbon, but carbon's finally coming down a little bit. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll stick that way. 275,000 is what we would need to finish off Bradbury, assuming we want to do that instead of going after Niven. Let's see, these iron mines definitely need to turn back into steel mills. That should help out a bit. Pirates are nice-ish. Not too big a deal, though. I guess we do need an Offworld or 3. I was hoping we could avoid that, but let's just upgrade and be like, Offworld. That beefs up the price on steel pretty seriously, so we'll just do some of that. What did I do at my patent lab last? It's just about done. I did go for slant drilling like I talked about. I'm out of claims again at this point, which I wanted to use to go ahead and get access to this carbon, but it's kind of late for that, so we're just moving very heavily into steel. I'm going to grab a dynamite because I have an Offworld going up and I want to increase the cost of stuff, people sending stuff at me. We're going to head for thinking machines. Because we have the patent lab up, we may as well try and use it. We could upgrade chem production again. Chems are making us a lot of money, so it's probably worthwhile. These electronics still making money. Not very much, but some. I'd love to put them on top of this carbon over here at this point. I did expect carbon scrubbing, and I didn't check and see if it was available, so that was definitely a mistake on my part. My steel, of course, gets frozen the instant it goes online, because that's just what steel is for, just like any of our other resources. Now, I still need to do something. How can I fight back against... Okay, wow, that is a lot of power online for Niven over here. That is just insane. Is power really... I mean, I know power is valuable, but that is so much power to put online. Alright, these electronics are certainly bad by now. Thankfully, somebody froze them for us, so that's going to help us out tremendously. Let's send some food. I don't know why Onworld's prices stayed the way they did for so long. Niven's still just catching us bit by bit by bit. I don't know what to do about that. We can keep buying stock, right? We can keep trying, but nothing's worth anything on this map. Nothing is worth anything, and we can't really even commit to an Offworld because we're so close to being killed anyways. Like, steel is our best bet, right? And it's making us money. Chems are making us some money. The electronics really aren't. We need to get out of them. The Offworld got knocked down because that's what happens when you put up an Offworld market. It gets knocked down. There's no two ways about it. Oh, man. What do we do? What do we do? We could go for another upgrade. That costs a ridiculous amount of steel, though. We could scrap some of this steel production and try to get to another Offworld and be like, hey, here's an Offworld here, and... let's put another Offworld over here if we can. Sheesh, I thought we'd be able to. How much does an Offworld cost? Oh, max... oh, because I don't have a level 5 HQ. That's the problem.
New design for the colony layout is simply breathtaking.
Sure, right there. Look, our steel stays super valuable. We still have slant drilling, so all of that's still good. We can keep upgrading this steel production, try and keep making money off of the fact that we're building these Offworlds, and try not to make it just flat out lose us the game. Let's turn these chems off because they are definitely losing money. We can just be like, hey, look, more steel. Sure, like literally all of the steel. Let's grab up that last little bit of stock to raise our price a bit more. I mean, a claim is kind of okay. We can still use it. Steel goes there. Steel goes there. Look at all this steel production we have going on. Oh, man. Everything on World is dead, and I don't know why that happened this game. Maybe because it's a 6-man game, and it's been so long since I played 6-man games, I just forget how they go. But, oh man, this is crazy. Let's get that carbon coming in with those 2 claims there. Make sure that our Offworlds are actually online and sending. We have thinking machines grabbed up, so we don't need this guy either anymore. What could we turn this into? It could turn into something like a hacker array to try and help out with on-world prices and lean them the way we need them to go. We can't build an off-world market because it costs glass. There we go. That's fixed.
Off-world shipment launched. Look at all the money.
Okay, off-worlds are still online. We're going to keep... Hey, look, our off-worlds just keep getting blown up. What a surprise. I'm so startled. This pleasure dome can actually get repaired. This carbon price, I tell you, it's what's killing us this game. Where's the rest of your carbon? It feels like you have to have more than that. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's literally just that. But you're still catching up to us so fast. and there's no way we can actually recover and compete. Fine. Just keep knocking your carbon down. Why not? Okay. Yeah, he's sitting on 500,000-ish or more. We need to push to 1 million to kill him. He needs way less to kill us, unfortunately. Another option is to just go after someone like Clark for 462 and try to hold on. But I don't see that working long term. Alright, let's get out of all this steel, because, man, we don't need that much steel anymore. I guess the one nice thing about Carbon staying high is he can't get to Offworlds. If Offworlds were more valuable this game, we might have been in a much better spot, but they really just weren't. Like, Offworlds just weren't worth anything this game at all.
Look at all the money.
Like, nothing is worth anything to make. Now power is worth a little bit. We can add to that a bit more. We're at 92 of what we need. Niven is still terrifying over here in his corner. We have the hacker ray online. Let's go ahead and short electronics with that. We have a claim left. I'm not sure what to do with that. I'm going to go ahead and make this buy happen, one of them. Let's do this one. This is quicker for us. Hopefully that'll raise our stock price a bit. In the next patch, by the way, buying someone out raises our stock price significantly. So that would be a better play in the next patch than it is right now. We might have it. I don't think Niven can quite keep up with all of our off-worlds now that literally everything on world is worth nothing. He can't keep knocking them down over and over and over again. We still have food production fairly solidly, despite the fact that we're sending so much of it elsewhere. We can keep upgrading it. There's a chem short, which could hurt, but won't completely destroy us. Even if he got some advantage off of it. And I think we'll just buy Clark next.
Look at all the money.
And then try to finish it off. We need to make sure we have 7 of them sending. We might actually need to get more food production down. Shoot. Alright, let's just tank all the prices. Alright, food's good. Let's make sure we're making food. Power is incredible. Sheesh, what did you guys do to power? You guys are nuts. I don't even care at this point, like, about any of our hacks or anything. It's an electronic shortage. It's really not going to help much. Okay, power. We're still okay on power.
Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money. Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money. Look at all the money.
Like, what happened was he took an early lead off Carbon, and I was terrified of that literally the entire game. Where I was like, no, 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 no.
Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money. Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money. Look at all the money.
Alright. Should have never turned this into a solar panel. There we are. What are we sitting on? 521,000. Offworlds are still sending for the most part. Let's make sure they stay that way. There we are. We're making 14 food a second. Yes, you can. You can talk, IHOP. I'm surprised IHOP is still here. That's interesting. Okay. We got it done. Offworlds, like, it's kind of interesting because once the on-world market prices tank, Offworlds automatically become more valuable because it costs nothing to use them, right? I shouldn't be sending food anymore, realistically. I should be sending oxygen. I don't want to lose the game just because I'm sending the wrong resource. That would be stupid. How much do I need? I need 876 to finish it off because I actually managed to acquire a significant amount of him. I'm glad you're in the stream, man. That's interesting. He got about my he forgot about my reactors. No, I didn't forget about your reactors. I just, well, yeah, I kind of did. I knew they were down there, like these guys. I just didn't know what to do with the tiles. You know what I mean?
Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money.
Whew. I didn't expect that. I thought we were dead. I thought we were totally dead. But what happened was Saberman got to like that. Saberman hit the same point we did, where nothing on world was worth money, right? And he had the advantage. So I thought it was done. But what ended up happening was we were in a position where we could actually, like, steel was nuts, right? Steel was at $200. Carbon was at $200. Offworlds were stupid to try and get to. But this is the downside to that carbon. And in particular, kind of the downside to not having all the carbon he needed. I don't know if he upgraded his carbon production. It's definitely something he needed to do at that stage of the game. Yeah, this is the big difference between myself and Saberman at the end of that game. Nothing was worth anything. Saberman had the advantage. Yeah, there's all kinds of yelling at me in chat. That's fine. Anyways, Saberman had the advantage, in my opinion, in terms of resources, right? And in terms of tiles at the point where he makes the buy. Because he has an expansive player and he has himself as a scavenger player, both at HQ level 5. Whereas I was at HQ level 4, I was at HQ level 2. He has the advantage in stock as well, whereas he has more stock than I do at that stage of the game. He has more stock in me than I have in him, so he's terrifying. But what ends up happening is my advantages start playing out through the entire course of that game, because we can see Saberman had no patents, whereas I had 6 patents that game. Superconductor was huge, nanotech was huge, slant drilling was big, thinking machines was big, and teleportation was big. Like, all of those mattered. And then virtual reality happened, and I got it for 5,000. It wasn't a big deal, right? Where Saberman had no patents, Saberman had no tech. I had 14 tech. I used the electronics, I used the chems to push on through to finally build Offworlds. And then the big thing at the end was, and I'll get to chat in just a second here, was the fact that I was able to just throw down like 10 steel mills and make 20 steel a second to go ahead and power out all of my Offworlds and pull that off. Whereas Saberman, this is the downside of Scavenger and that steel situation, and he knows it, is just this idea of he can't just turn all of his buildings into that production resource. It's because of how awkward the resource is, where you just rip it straight from the ground. He can't just say, I am going to have that resource, right? He can't do that. He had to prep for it ahead of time, and I think he was trying to go for a push when he stalled out at like that 70% to 80% and got up to that 90% mark, where then we finally started making our buys, and he just couldn't make any money afterward, which is why we started going for the buys on the other players, is because we knew we had stalled out by then, and he couldn't make money, because we couldn't make money either. And so that's what won us the game in particular. All right. Yeah, I mean, and that's a good way to put it for Gameslayer, from Gameslayer, is just this idea that Gameslayer says he invested early for a payoff later, and that's exactly right, in my opinion. All right, sounds good, Gameslayer. I don't know how much I'll be streaming later of this game, but sounds good. But yeah, I invested early into, and not even particularly early, but earlier than anybody else did, into that patent lab and into that technology. And that's really what carried me through. Was even though nothing was worth anything, at least I was making 3 times as much of it. So I could actually keep having buildings down that made money, because not only does it increase production, it increases efficiency. And that was huge, that game. That was absolutely necessary, and I think it's the only reason I survived, was all the tech that I had and all the patents that I had. Yeah, Saber's a hard opponent, that's for sure. Saber's darn good at the game. There's no question about that. These 2 underground nukes, I think, were also kind of a major deal this game, because obviously when they went down, they were just right here, and then at that point, he basically has no carbon. He has no nanotech. It's very difficult. It's much more difficult for him to shift. It's much more difficult for him to make money. So you can't forget about the underground nukes, which I do all the time. These are, guys, whenever I'm saying these mistakes, I make these mistakes all the time. Don't worry about them. But they're just kind of more things to think about that contribute to winning the game. Okay.